Best Irish music on irishradio.org with Jerry Byrne.
I'm Jerry Byrne, it's Irish Radio. Now, since the advent of COVID, the lockdowns and all the rest of it, I've been speaking to many of the great and the good of Irish music and entertainment. And my next guest, no exception, a gentleman who literally travelled the length and breadth of Ireland entertaining. A native of Athlone, County Westmeath, but resident in Offaly for many, many years. I'm delighted to say hello to the one and only John Molloy. John, how are you?
Jerry, good afternoon.
Listen, great to catch up with you. You were a busy man over this past few years in entertainment.
I was, Jerry. Like a lot of my friends in the industry, we were very fortunate. I was very fortunate with the dancing circuit. I was up and down, as you say, all over Ireland, and I built up a steady fan base. I met some great friends in the industry as well, and with people from all over Ireland and further afield. I've toured with on the Paul Claffey tours as well to Spain and Portugal, along with Michael English and Jimmy Buckley and Mike Denver and all those people. I was very fortunate to be in the position, I suppose, to be able to meet so many people and travel the world with doing something I love,
Indeed, absolutely fantastic stuff. And you went down an absolute, you were going down an absolute storm. I mean, you were just incredibly successful and incredibly busy.
Well, I suppose I never really. I'm a very humble individual, Jerry. I get up every day and I do what I can, and every time I got up on that stage, I give 120% of, and I always put a lot of energy into my shows. And, I suppose I was very fortunate. I got to record, a lifetime dream of mine was to record an album. And I just done that prior to lockdown. But I was a bit unfortunate with that, but that's the way things go. I mean, with the lockdown, I didn't get to have my launch, so. Yeah, look, it was a bit tough, and it is tough, and it's tough for all our friends in the business at the moment,
Indeed. The thing, John, but the ironic thing is, I think you have beaten anybody else. I mean, who had a launch. I mean, you had not alone one launch cancelled; you had two of them cancelled. The first one with the weather. I mean, it was as though you nearly weren't meant to have this launch.
I think, yeah, there was something. I actually, Jerry, a funny thing, I had to plan that launch 3 times, and I eventually had to have a virtual launch, where my good friend Simon Casey and Olivia Douglas, who live locally, I suppose we had to comply with guidelines at the time. They came down to the house, and we done a live Facebook launch, and I got to sell a few CDs. But look, I suppose, yes, you're right. I mean, the first thing, the weather, we had it scheduled for last February, just gone by, and it didn't happen. And then we scheduled it for the 7th of April, and that was right in the middle of the lockdown. And of course, the second time, it didn't get to go ahead. Rather. But we had all the expense, I suppose, of that everyone else would have, launching a CD, advertising, and radio clips and whatever. So yes, I lost a lot of money, and it was a bitter pill to swallow at the time. And then with all the gigs that was in the diary, I suppose, it was disappointing that I didn't get out to see the fans and see all the people that support me,
Indeed. Indeed, that's that is the shame. But it's truly incredible that that it has stopped every sort of live performance that there is right across the world, including New York's Broadway, London's West End, and every theatre and every live music venue. Just nobody basically working.
Well, to be honest, I don't think anybody working in the art sector, Jerry, could have, anticipated what was to happen. Probably the biggest global pandemic that has ever hit our world, and it has turned their lives upside down. I suppose many of us are, faced with a situation where we'll have to look at maybe changing occupations for the time being. And I'm doing just that, as well. I'm actually in college now, studying a new trade at the moment because, life goes on, the bills have to be paid, and, none of us could see this coming, but, I feel sorry for a lot of our members. We're very fortunate we have a great team of people who came together, and they're acting as the Music Entertainment Association of Ireland, MEAI, and they're representing us here in the south of Ireland and doing a lot of positive work and trying to get engaged with government and trying to, try and get musicians recognised, because in many ways, Jerry, we've been thrown under the bus as performers. And, I know there's a bigger issue out there. There's a lot of people can't work, and there's a lot of people working from home in various other sectors. But from musicians, we're a unique breed of people, and people who work in the art sector, because our job start at night. It involves travelling, as you said earlier in the interview, from all different parts of the country. You don't get to bed till all hours of the morning. So we have in order for us to bring the entertainment to the people, we have to work very hard at it. And realistically, I think it's important to keep that in mind, with a lot of our members. There's people who have spent years, including myself, have spent a lot of time, learning our craft and learning how to be entertainers. And suddenly, when that's taken away from you, on the 11th of March, I done my last gig, along with myself and a friend of mine, Andy Feary. We done our last gig in the Southern Hotel in Sligo, and it was the very same as somebody turning off a light switch. So surreal, really, to see something like that happen. You'd never imagine it could happen.
Indeed, it is something that definitely never thought it'd happen, and something which has had a huge impact. I think together with entertainers and people involved in the arts, I think the next possibly worst affected is sort of the general hospitality industry, for example, hotels, pubs, and places like that, and tourist resorts. I think they've been.
Absolutely, and this, as I said, this problem is not just unique to the musicians. It's very tough on all our members and all the people, as you said, that work in the arts. But we cannot forget the venues and the pubs and the theatres, as you say, and all the various different sectors that feed off this industry. Because without venues, obviously artists have nowhere to perform. And, you can't help but feel sorry for a lot of the venues that have their premises closed, and in many cases cost them a lot of money because they're still paying rent and rates, and the associated costs going out of the direct debits every single month. Many of these businesses, Jerry, might never open again, and that's sad. Obviously, as a musician, as an artist, we have to remain hopeful that it will come back, and it will come back in time. I suppose the big thing for everybody is, if we had a date that when this was going to come clear, if there was a vaccine in place, at least people could have breathe a sigh of relief and breathe a little bit of hope back into our industry,
Indeed.
But, so it's tough for everybody, Jerry. We have to be mindful of all the various industries that feed off what we do, who are at a loss at the moment.
Indeed so. That is just the thing. But you've been doing things. I see one of the things you did. You actually did some entertaining for a retirement home in County.
That's right. Yes, that's something I've always been doing. I've huge respect for the elderly, and obviously we're all heading that way at some point in our lives, And my good friend Olivia Douglas and myself, we've gone in regularly to the local nursing home, but obviously with guidelines, it's becoming very much difficult to even perform now because we're heading into the winter months. It was lovely during the summer when the residents could come outside in these places and enjoy a bit of music. And you know, it's nice to be able to give something back. I mean, I have my health, and I'm able to walk out and go home to my family. Those people, many of them are in these retirement homes, and I feel so sorry for them, and I can speak for Olivia as well. You know, you look at some of them and they have nobody to reach out to, or no family members coming to see them. It's so sad, really, you know, and it's nice. I mean, if a nursing home or any of these retirement homes ask me as an artist to go and play music, I never see it as a chore. It's an honour to be able to do something for the people that shape our country, you know.
Indeed so. And have you done? I think you've done some Facebook Lives as well.
I have. I've done a few, but I've done quite a few actually. But I just with family life. I mean, I've a wife, Magella. I better say hello to my wife, Magella, and my two boys, Daniel and Keane. And you know, at school and home life, and then I'm in college. As I said, I started a college course now as well. So I've other stuff going on in my life now, as opposed to try and keep myself occupied and to try and keep the mind right. You know, I'm actually learning how to groom dogs. That's what I'm doing now at the moment.
Excellent.
You might find that amusing.
That is excellent. Well done, John. You certainly, you're a busy. You've been a busy lad.
Yeah, I think I'm one of those type of people. I have to keep busy all the time because, you know, like so many of our friends in the business, I got very depressed when the music came to the crash, like it did, and I suppose the realization of where it was at, and it's very difficult to see it coming back anytime soon. But you know, we have to be hopeful, and it will come back. You know, we just have to hope that people will be healthy and that we don't lose. We have to remember all the people that have died due to this COVID crisis as well, and lost loved ones, because you know, those are the real heroes, the unsung heroes. Like, you know, we have to be mindful of that too. You know.
Indeed so. Very, very, very much. And you know, unfortunately, there have been quite a number of people who have unfortunately succumbed to it. Indeed, people who've ended up afterwards ill for various reasons on it. You know, we must be thankful at this stage, at least that, you know, that we have got our health and all that. So that's something to be majorly thankful for. Yeah,
absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, your health is your wealth, and it's so important. Like, you know,
Indeed.
You know, and I suppose I want to take this opportunity with all your listeners in the UK, and I want to thank you personally as well for all you guys do for us people in the country music scene all across the UK and further afield. I mean, without people like yourself, Jerry, bringing the music at the moment, you guys are doing a tremendous job and a great service in I suppose in the absence of all the artists that are not able to perform. At least you guys have that platform now that you can bring the music to the people and try and give a little bit of enjoyment, I suppose. I want to give a big shout out to a good friend of ours there as well, a great friend of mine, and that's Stephen Kelleher. I know he's a big Chelsea fan. And poor Stephen has his own battles going on at the moment, but I know he's a regular listener to your show. And if this can help to try and brighten his spirits, and you know, I just want to give him a big shout out and wish him all the best, and his family and that as well. So.
Yes, indeed. He said when I was chatting to you to say hello and best wishes, because he's seen you perform numerous times in Ireland.
He's a great guy. You know, he's a brilliant fan. Not just me, of all the artists as well. And it's nice to see. It's nice to see the fellas like us can make an impact in so many people's lives, you know, in a positive way, you know.
Indeed so. You know, it's absolutely excellent. But you know, even though the launch of the album and all the rest didn't go to plan, to say the least, you know, still in all, it's had success. You know, because you've had a great reaction.
Ah, yes. I mean, the album. Look, it's a nice mixture of the songs. I suppose it was my first album, and it was always a dream of mine to be, you know, to get my first album out. I recorded the album with Wayne Rose from Rose Media outside Roscommon there, one of the finest producers in the country. Of course, Wayne is no stranger to the stage. He's the musical director with Robert Mazzell and the Country Kings. A great guy, really, really professional. And I was very happy with the production. I suppose there's 13 songs on the album, Jerry. There's something in it for everybody. There's ballads. I mean, when I started my music career, I started off singing the ballads in the pubs and that. And, you know, I'm still very passionate about the Irish folk and ballads. And there's a mixture of that as well as country and upbeat. There's even a bit of American country there as well. So, you know, when I was recording, I tried to give a mixture of songs, and I suppose a sample of the stuff that I love, and you know, and there's been a great reaction, I have to say, and it's getting a lot of airplay all over Ireland and the UK and further afield as well. There's loads of DJs and radio stations playing my music. So again, I'm very thankful to that, like, you know, but definitely to yourselves as well. You do great work, you know.
It's all a real pleasure, John, and you know, it's great to be able to actually, you know, particularly in the times that we're in, it's great to be able to support artists like yourself, you know, and you know, to try and you know, keep the flag flying for your good selves, yourself, and all the other musical artists that you know, that are not performing at the moment, and that goes literally to sort of from the smallest artist to the greatest artist. Nobody is actually doing anything at the moment, unfortunately.
I know. It's but again, as I said, well done to yourself, Jerry, and keep up the good work. That's all I'll say. And you know, the best of luck to yourself as well and your family. I want to take this opportunity to tell you to mind yourself and protect you and your family and the ones closest to you in these times, like, you know, and hopefully that the powers and the people that are in the position will find a vaccine for this dreaded virus, and let everybody get back to some sort of normal living again, you know, and get back to our country music and our venues and our dancing and all that as well.
Indeed.
You know, I suppose that's all we can hope for, you know.
Indeed, that's all. John, listen, you know, to yourself and your lady wife and your family, listen, wishing you all the luck in the world. Well done on your training and your college work and all the rest of it. And listen, when it's safe to do so, I look forward to seeing you performing once again.
Jerry, an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.